Sweet. Okay. So if this works and he is actually interested in being the co-host, I don't even think we need to interview anybody else. I know this is a jiu-jitsu podcast, but combat sports is combat sports, and anybody who's willing to put themselves on the line in a ring, in an octagon, on a jiu-jitsu mat is obviously welcomed on this show. I can't believe I'm saying this, but we'll give this a shot. Potential co-host of Rear Naked Radio, Mr. Mike Tyson. Hello, sir.
Hey, what's up, man? How's it going?
Oh my
glad
God.
to be here.
Oh my God. Well, it's huge. My agent, I guess, knows your agent and pitched you the project. And this is so exciting, man. I guess we got to get this out of the way first.
Yeah.
You're not a jiu-jitsu guy, but I think when it comes to combat sports, there's a lot in common, at least mentally, when it comes to boxing and jiu-jitsu. Like fighting is fighting.
Fighting's fine, man. I'm a fighter. I was born a fighter. I was born for this shit, man. I mean, like, you don't get much more of a fighter than me. And I'm hungry again for the first time in a long time. I've been training. I'm ready. I'm hungry. I'm hungry, man. I'm ready to eat so much, man. I'm ready to fight and eat is what I'm trying to say. It's like I'm hungry, but it's a refined hunger. It's like a charcuterie board of hunger. It's like a smorgasbord, you know, like with like some salami on it.
Sure.
And some mango habanero cheese is just for some variety, for some spice, you know, like, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
Mike,
you know,
are you talking more about like actual, it sounds like you're talking more about actual hunger.
No, I'm talking about fighting, man. I'm talking about fighting, like where, you know, you mix these different elements of the fight. It's like a charcuterie board with like olives on it, like Kalamata olives. It's for like some spice, for some tang, for that punch. You know, it's like punching. And see, it's like fighting. You see what I'm saying?
Look, Mike, your agent told us that this might happen, that you've gotten kind of into Netflix cooking shows. Is that true?
Yeah, I can't get enough of them, man. It's like, you know, a hard day of training. I get home and I just want to binge watch them and all the cooking shows, man. Gordon Ramsay is my man. I love watching how he puts the things together. The elements, it's just like combat sports, man. You see what I'm saying? The connections, it's there. So let's talk about cooking, man. Let's talk about putting together all the elements to make a perfect pot roast, man. You can't ignore the carrots and the celery whenever you're making that broth to get the bouillabaisse just right and get the bouillon.
Man, I'm vegan. Look, I knew this was too good to be true. Look, while
you can substitute all that for tofurkey, man. It's just fine. It works. It'll still work, man.
Look, eventually on this show, Mike,
we can rename the podcast.
No, we can't rename
meat
the
and
podcast.
Vegetables. No, the meat and vegetables of jiu-jitsu, of fighting, of combat sports, meat and veg.
And that's fine. I like the kind of morning radio vibe Meat and the Veg has. And look, eventually, Mike.
Perfect, man. I'm glad that we could come see eye to eye on this.
Totally.
I look forward when we shoot in the first episode. We can start it. Let's start right now. This is the pilot. This is the first episode.
This is
rebranding, renaming.
Well, not rebranding. Definitely not renaming. And we are recording. This is. We are on the air right now. This is.
I feel like this is a good first solid episode. I look forward to
Man, you can't leave yet, Mike. We're not done. You can't just say a bunch of cookie words and hang up.
Let's hook up. Well, episode 2.
Stop trying. No, we're still in episode 1. I'm not even for 5 days a week. Holy shit, that is so much. That is so much cooking time. All right, look, if we're gonna do an episode 5 days a week, right? And look, I cannot turn down an opportunity to do a combat sports podcast with the Mike Tyson 5 days a week. But we're definitely going to have to sure. Here's the thing. Eventually, we'll get to our personal lives. I talk a lot about mental health on the show. We can talk about your passion for cooking, but I feel like
you need some comfort foods, man. You know, some like soul cooking, some comfort foods. That's the best thing for mental health that you can possibly have. You don't even know. Like, so we can talk about that. I've got some great recipes. I'm ready to go over like 4 or 5 of them right now, and we can. This episode was already solid, but we can stretch it out a little bit longer.
We can't do a podcast where we just list ingredients and just talk about.
So this will be our first 2-parter right now. I'm excited about this, man. I'm so excited.
Look, I love your passion. I love how excited you are. I love that you're taking control. But before we get into our epic 2-part recipe saga episode, I have to ask you what your thoughts are as an athlete, as a fighter, on jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu, man, I love jiu-jitsu. I love every element of it, man.
Excellent.
I love the punching and the kicking.
There's no punching and kicking. There's no punching and kicking involved in jiu-jitsu. We're talking about
look, Jamie.
Yeah.
Who's the fighter here? Who's the fighter? You or me?
Okay,
thank you.
Sure.
So let's talk about the punching and the kicking involved in it. Talk about the pre-workout meal, the post-workout meal. Talk about the protein, the macros that you need, man. And there's nothing better for the pre-workout. You go a little light, you know, you keep it kind of cool. You keep the vegetables in the earlier part of the day, then you get that protein after. And so for the protein, you're looking at some tuna fish. You know, some tuna fish is excellent. And then you know you put in some extra carbs, but you don't need the lower burning cup. Look, I just mainly want to talk about this charcuterie board I've been putting together. I think it's a masterpiece. You've never seen anything like it.
Are you branding? Are you trying to pitch? Are you trying to pitch a Mike Tyson brand charcuterie board?
It's in development, and we're getting there. But what I'm trying to say though is that it comes with all the recipes that you need. It comes with how to put together the perfect charcuterie board.
Yeah.
And the elements are really about how you select the cheese to go with.
Mike, look. I don't mean to cut you off. Without talking about cooking, and we'll get back to it, right? So you have a podcast, you know this. You have to, tease what the people are looking forward to and talk about some other things besides cooking.
But every time I have somebody come on a hot boxing with Mike, I hear they always want to talk about, like fighting and boxing and, like combat sports and all this stuff. And, it's like, I was so happy to see that I was going to be able to branch out past that and get to the things I'm most passionate about in this life.
Well, yeah, but we can do both. But the thing is, you can't just turn this into a cooking show. I think the people who are tuning into this show specifically want to hear. So here's a question. Not about jiu-jitsu.
I appreciate the tone that you're talking to me with right now. And if you really want to be my co-host, I think that you're going to really
co-host. This is my show.
Yeah. No, that's not what my agent was telling me about. Look, if you want to be my co-host on this new rebranding of the Rear Naked Style Radio, then you're going to really change the tone of where you're coming. You got to really respect, what the people want to hear when they.
Mike, look, I respect you so much, which is why I was really excited about this. And we don't have to talk about jiu-jitsu. Let's talk about you, and let's talk about your life and your career. I wanted to ask you, and a lot of people I think can relate to this because people can't train with COVID, and I've heard you talk a lot about, if you don't want to talk about the physical side of fighting, let's talk about the mental side. I've heard you talk a lot about visualization, and I was wondering how our listeners can utilize visualization in fighting if they can't actually train right now. So if you can't train right now, how would you use visualization to get yourself through?
So sometimes you got to get out of your head, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you get all these thoughts running through your head, and you're distracted. So sometimes you got to take some time out for self-care, and you got to like meditate. You got to like kind of find a peaceful place, and kind of close your eyes, do some deep breathing, and focus on just being present in the moment. What is it that you hear in the background? What is it that you think? And then just let the thoughts go in and out. Observe the smells around you. Like if you got something cooking in the kitchen, and don't ignore what's on the burner. Now you got to keep in mind though, if you have something in the oven, you got to wait for that timer to go off. Don't let it overcook. You got, or maybe you have something simmering on the back burner, and you have something simmering, then you can't ignore that too, because if you're overcooked, you're gonna char it. You're gonna fuck up the base to the whole thing, and then now your whole meal is ruined now because you decided that you need to meditate instead of focus on the fucking meal that you were supposed to focus on in the first place. This is the problem.
That is the problem. Well, look,
you're talking? Was that good?
Yeah, I'm not.
I think that went well. I think this is a solid first episode,
Yeah,
and I look forward to tomorrow's two-parter. I
this
look
is great.
forward to discussing many more recipes and
Why
how
not?
to enhance your lifestyle and your
Yeah.
combat sports training through food and through the love of food.
Sure. I'm still quite mad at myself that I brought up visualization and did not see that coming. All right, Mike. Well, thank you so much. You better go get that food off the back burner. I appreciate it. Good luck in your fight. Are you still fighting? It doesn't even sound like you want to fight. Are you still taking on this fight with Roy Jones Jr.?
I told you, man, I'm training. I'm hungry. I'm hungrier than I have been since I was in my 20s. I thought that I did a pretty good job of explaining how hungry I actually am for this fight coming up.
Yeah.
And
I think
Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah.
I respect him so much, but I'm gonna have to murder him, and then I'm gonna cook him into a large like a shepherd's pie.
All right.
It's a recipe that I've got whenever I murdered him, and I'm gonna use every element of him for that recipe.
This is kind of good. I guess you're still capable of talking about fighting and violence. There's just a lot of weird cooking metaphors happening at the same time.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Well, thank you so much, man, and good luck with your fight. And I guess I'll talk to you tomorrow for our new cooking podcast. What is it called again? Meats and Veggies?
Meat, yeah. We'll figure it out.
Meats and Veggies with
meats and veggies. Yeah,
sure. With Jamie,
it's gonna be ludicrous.
All right, pal. I'll talk to you later.
Thanks.